you know, thank you for tuning in. And we had some issues with my guest and with Zoom, but we got it fixed on a different platform instead. So without further ado, please welcome a wrestler and a great promoter as well with XCF in good old Indiana. It is the one and the only Shane Mercer. Welcome to my show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, and this is the first show where we have got you as a larger figure on my show. If you watch this back in a bit, you'll realise that you know what I'm talking about because you're much bigger on the screen than I am usually. Usually we're about the same size, but because of testing things, we have to do it like this. So unfortunately, you can see my guest a lot bigger than you would usually see on my show in my usual background, but not today. But no, thank you for coming on the show today. And how has 2023 been for you so far?
2023 has been pretty good. Got, like you said, XCF had a lot of shows doing that. I've traveled pretty much all over the world this year. Done a lot of different things. 2023 has treated me pretty well so far.
That's good. That's
It's
good.
still not over yet.
Yes, it's still not over yet. That's very true indeed. And I know you did a post the other day about how you've never been to the UK before. I'm guessing on your bucket lists. You've been to Japan, you've been to many other places,
Mhm.
but not the UK. What's that? What's going on there?
I'm just waiting for a good time to tour over there. I'd love to hit up WXW and some of the other promotions I've seen over there, like Rev Pro and such. And I'm just pretty much waiting on the time for somebody to hit me up and let's go over there and get a tour going.
Yeah, you say let's pick it up. You need to come over here to experience the UK fans and the UK fan base. What do you think stands out for you from British wrestling to Japanese wrestling to US wrestling? What makes it different for you?
The biggest thing that first and foremost stands out to styles. Whenever somebody thinks over here in America, and when they think of British wrestling, they think of like the styles of like William Regal and a lot of the catch can wrestling and the things that go on like that. And then, of course, Japanese wrestling, you see a lot more of the hard hitting, like strong style stuff. And then over here in America, it really depends. I've seen a lot of independent stuff, of course. So that's what really stands out. So I can't really comment on what stands out for America since I'm over here. I guess that would be better if somebody else from somewhere else as far as that goes with that. But really, it's just a distinct difference of the styles of wrestling when it comes down to it.
Yeah. Absolutely, but I mean, you've done a lot right now in the US as well. We're working with Game Changer Wrestling, performing for them across the US and of course even in Japan. And what was it like being able to go over to Japan and going to showcase your skills to a different audience?
Oh, that was a dream come true. I've always wanted to go over to Japan since I was younger, since I was little. I've loved their style, everything, and I love how football is in America. That's how wrestling is in Japan. So that's like a perfect place to go to where it's looked at as one of the very top sports that you can be a part of over there, and they really appreciate wrestling for what it is and love it. You don't have people, talking crap about it or saying something or whatever. They really appreciate what you do over there, and for me, my first time going over there and hearing fans that may not have known who I was, but before I even wrestled, had someone chanting my name and stuff. That's cool to know that your bubble has expanded across continents now and everything. That's always a cool feeling to get to that level and see those kind of things happen.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I can't agree more with you. And hopefully, we can see you go over there more often in 2023 as well. I know you went there a few months ago twice. I think you've been there this year. Is that right? Twice, maybe a bit more.
Just once this year so far.
Just once this year. Okay. Can
Yep.
we see you going back before the end of the year? Maybe not with GCW, maybe, but with others in general.
Probably not before the end of this year, but I'm looking at going over there next year, 100%. I'd love to. I got some friends that went over there at different times and everything, and I'm hopefully looking at maybe a February, March date to head back to Japan and do some stuff. But definitely want to look forward as well to the UK at some time next year. Now that I got my feet wet with international travels and doing things and such, I got some hookups and connections around to get stuff going and hopefully make that happen early, if not middle next year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What about you mentioned about XCF? You've been blowing that up since the return last November, so almost a year ago now when you guys brought the show back. What was the drive behind bringing back XCF?
It was a lot of friends that I had growing up. A lot of guys that you see now, like Alex Zane, you see Aiden Blackheart, Satu Jin. They all came from XCF in our backyard days, and we never really kind of got a proper goodbye. It just kind of faded away. So originally, it started as a one-off show just to kind of say goodbye to everyone, and them kind of having a proper, goodbye to the business and everything. Because back then it wasn't like that. It was just kind of faded away, like I said. But then when everyone came back,
Yeah.
I figured there's going to be a lot of guys that sucked. I figured there's going to be some guys that were okay. There might have been like one or two that was good, so on and so forth. But I figured most of them would come back, say goodbye, and not come back ever again. Well, out of like 20 that came back, there's like 15 or so that wanted to stay and stick around. I was like, whoa, y'all want to keep doing this? And then I started thinking like, well, wrestling back then was kind of shunned upon that the style you see everywhere today now. But now that style is kind of normal everywhere. So they felt more comfortable, especially with me being in a position to, run the shows and stuff, that they didn't feel like it was some asshole promoter or somebody just being like a jerk to them or something. So they stuck around and they're doing their thing now. Of course, a lot of them are very, very, very green. Of course, coming back after all these years or just first time stepping into professional wrestling and doing it and such, and they're still getting their reps and getting their feet under them. Mm-hmm. But I also wanted to blend it with unique matchups, like see people that you wouldn't see face. Like our first show, we had Congo Kong and Don Moff, and those two guys run different circles on the independent scene. We never see them talk, but we got to see them wrestle each other. So seeing those kind of matches, like we had one on our last show, was Jake Oman and Jason Kincaid, and they put on a clinic, but never stepped forth in the ring together before XCF. I want to put matches together that people don't get to see happen very often, or those rare, unique matchups, things you don't ever see, and also blend together some of the XF originals, some of those guys with some of these indie vets, and get some good combinations for them to learn as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I agree with you there. Well, speaking of Congo Congos, he was on my show last November. I think it was shortly after your first show back, and he had a lot of great things to say, obviously. And you mentioned about the Dan Moff opponent. What a great opponent he was. Great challenge for Congo Kong. Can we expect to see Dan Moff back in XCF soon? Is there any possibility of him coming back over to you guys?
I have another venue that I just started booking in Indianapolis, which you know of, and I was wanting to bring in some of the OVW guys. I have some OVW friends that I'm friends with, Isaiah, Big Zoe, Cashflow, among others, Hollywood, ADJ, Maria James on there. I know all of them very well, but I wasn't able to bring them in to my shows because I ran my shows within like a 10-mile radius or something of where OVW runs.
Right.
And they have a rule, according to Al Snow, and it's a lot of people do it, where they don't want them running within like 50-mile radius or something like that, so on and so forth. I understand. Sucks, but I understand. And now that I got this new venue that opens the doors to a lot of people. Originally, on the first show, I was going to try to have Dan Moff and Cashflow, and that's still the plan now that I got a new venue. I'd love to bring Dan Moff back and have him and Cashflow lock horns. I'd just love to see that matchup.
Interesting you mentioned about this new venue. I'm guessing we'll be seeing this new venue shortly then, once you guys announce the next date, whenever that will be.
You'll see it again. I'm not entirely sure exactly when, because it's always a time of money, sponsorships, things like that, getting all the business side of things together. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you'll definitely see the venue again for now.
Okay. And is that the one where you won the last show from, or was this a brand new venue, never before seen before?
This is the last show in Indianapolis, right. The Indianapolis venue.
Yeah. I know of it now. Yep, no problem. I heard rumors that you are wanting to, use that venue as well. Use your home venue, the home of where you guys came back last year in Chesterfield Arena. Can we see that maybe before the end of the year?
Yeah, plan on doing one more show at least before the end of the year to get things going. Hopefully looking at a early December date. Not entirely sure, because like I said, it's a lot of business side, seeing who's available, who's not, money, things, and so on and so forth with all that stuff. So I'm not trying to screw anybody over. Don't ever want to do that. But I want to get things lined up and make sure they're exactly right before I just throw a show out there and then all of a sudden I can't afford to pay nobody, or you're not going to have the exact fan base or enough time to promote. There's a lot of things to think and go into it.
No, I understand that, and of course we don't want you doing that, because we just be like false advertising, and then let's be peed off at you and want their money back, and And then
Yep.
people will say, "Oh, don't work for you," type things. So we don't none of that for you.
Yep.
But
I always want
hopefully,
to make sure I got my eggs in a goose, so to speak, before I
yeah,
get all that to happen. 100%.
exactly. And of course, you can go to the XCF's social medias, and you can start to stay up of all the latest information regarding what's going to happen with that next date. We did have a question coming for you, however, from a person for XCF, a question for you. If you don't mind answering it, I just found the question. Do bear with me. So the question is, why would you place a silly little man in charge of your shows, El Luchador, who clearly has bias against some of his top talent, even letting his bias flow over to allowing the ref to try and challenge his talent with a question mark? Do you have a clue what he's on about there, this person? Any response?
Whenever it comes to El Luchador being with things in charge, I'm a talent on the show, so I don't feel like it is under my jurisdiction, and it shouldn't be. Most people shouldn't, to put yourself in charge of a show and then book yourself on the show too. Because then, if that was the case, why don't I just put myself in title matches every show and always be in the main event? That's not the case. I want to put somebody there who can take control and, so to speak, have that administrative role to line all the boys up, line all the stuff up, make all the stuff happen. And as far as what goes on from that set point, I have no idea with that stuff. I don't get involved in that stuff, and I let that flow and be until something gets out of control. So obviously nothing's gotten out of control or anything yet to that extent, or else we'd be hearing more uproar about it. But that's as far as that goes. He is a company guy to take charge of things to where I should not. I may book shows and get things lined up, but then he has reins after that to do whatever.
Gotcha. Because I'm guessing he's going at it as well, like maybe you don't like the refs or he doesn't like the refs, because they seem to be ending up in some, canon folders recently over the past few months, haven't they? Some of them. So it's just interesting that he references that as well.
Yeah, I just hand the reins off to El Luchador, and then once I hand it off to him, I'm a talent.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with you there. But what's the future for you then in XCF? Then what can we expect from you then? Possibly maybe in December or next year then.
We have some unfinished business with me and the Rejects that has not been solved. It started on the very first show. Satu Jin, Nick Depp, Reed Bentley, John Wayne Murdoch, and I already made it set forth once that KTB is going to come back and help me get some of that revenge on them, and as well maybe Isaiah coming back and all of us teaming up for the first time ever against the Rejects. Just looking forward to a show when everybody can line up and we can exact that and I can move on from there. Then once I move on from there, to be honest with you, I have my sights set on some of the originals. I want to see what they are exactly made of now. It's been a year that they have stepped back forth into this world, and if they're going to step back into this world, I want to see who can actually swim, who can survive, and what they are made of now.
Yeah, well, we look forward to see what happens then, and good luck in moving on, and hopefully they'll let you to move on as well, because sometimes these players, you think you've gotten past them, and they're like not so fast, still got unfinished business with you, so we'll see. But you mentioned about dream matchups in XCF. Any dream matches you will want to be involved in? Not just in XCF, but anywhere?
I'd like to get my hands on Grisham. I'd like to have a one-on-one with Jonathan Grisham at some point. Never got to lock horns with him everywhere at all. But me and him we did the IWA Mid-South tryout show years ago.
Yeah.
And we were both on the same show together. Me and him, the Hooligans, Ricky Shane Page, all did the same show. Didn't realize that until years later. Of course, all of our careers spiraled out different directions and whatnot. But that was always interesting to see that. And we've never got a chance to lock up or do absolutely anything. I'd also love to, if I ever get the chance, to get in the ring with Josh Alexander. I've loved a lot of his stuff. I had a badass match earlier this year with Speedball Bailey. I want to show that I can hang with some of the best out there. And I feel like those are a couple names in the hat that I can draw out, and I 100% feel like I can hang with both of them.
Yeah, well, we can't wait to see those happen. Hopefully sooner rather than later, as they say. And you're not just a wrestler or a promoter; you're also kind of a bodybuilder as well. Uh,
Mhm.
what got you involved with bodybuilding and even as well promoting as well, not just be a regular sized wrestler?
The same thing that ties it all in together: wanting to be a wrestler.
Fair
So, with
enough.
wanting to be a wrestler when I was little, of course, I weighed like 130, 140 pounds, and I wanted to be a wrestler. You see all these wrestlers on TV back then, you got to do something about it. All these, plus the moves and stuff I wanted to do with my little stuffed animals wrestling around growing up, I wanted to really be able to do it. And lo and behold, I can now. I do a lot of these crazy ass moves and stuff that you see because they were dreamt up by me whenever I was little, just playing around with stuffed animals or toy wrestlers. And now I'm making that happen in real life. I wanted to make that happen, and I knew I needed to do something to change it. My dad was always kind of farm strong, and I admired strength because of him, because he always did such cool stuff growing up that I didn't think people could do. And then after seeing that and getting in the gym and started to impress him, it felt awesome because he was the one that introduced me to wrestling to begin with. So I always kind of leaned towards the strength side of stuff. But then I loved the athletic ability of some of the high flyers and things that they did. So I kind of wanted to blend both worlds together of like strength and agility, because I always thought it's always like a naysay sort of cliche thing. Oh, if you're strong, that's all you can do, and you're dumb. Or like you're high flying, that means you're like you can have agility, but you're weak and stuff. And I'm like, no, this ain't got to be like that, not whatsoever at all. And I wanted to combine a lot of that stuff together, and I just loved that. That's where my bodybuilding stuff came from. Just kind of admiring how far you can push your body and actually take a weight. And this week, this is hard. And then a few weeks later, it's not no more. If you push yourself right and hit it hard enough.
Right, that's good to know and good advice. Could we ever see yourself and many of your great talent or opponents from XCF to come into the UK to do an XCF UK tour or something?
Yeah, I'd have my passport, of course. I told you earlier I was definitely down to come to the UK. But if I got things lined up to go into the UK, have a venue, have flights and all that stuff panned out, and all the business side of things lined up, 100%, I'd be down for doing it.
That would be very dope to see yourself and all these other fantastic talents coming over to the UK to bring the XCF craziness to a UK fan base, because as I'm sure you know, the UK fans will love whatever whatever happens on an XCF show. Believe me, I think they'd be more walrus than your own fans are in the US.
I would look forward to it. It'd be something exciting to look forward to if I could ever get something like that arranged. But definitely, I'd 100% be down for it.
Yeah, most definitely comment for that, for sure. Your upcoming events in November, then, where can people see you in November?
In November, let me see here. You can see me at Freelance Wrestling coming up. I have a show there in Chicago, Illinois. I got the Thunder or Blunder show this coming Thursday coming up in Indianapolis.
Yeah,
Um,
Congo Kong is going to be
I
on there as
have,
well.
yep, got GCW shows coming up. You can always check me out on those. Those are all over the world, so it's hard to tell where the hell I'll be at. Um, Let me see here. I have a show for Practical Wrestling in Tennessee coming up, and just some other various ones in between. I'd have to go back and look at my calendar because I usually write them down and know by then. But yeah, that's the first ones that pop off my head coming off top of it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because you mentioned you got a show this Thursday. Can we see you and Congo Kong getting into each other's way on that show? Or do you think you mind your own business and stay out of his business?
It depends if he wants to step up to me again. I think I was one of the first people that treated Congo Kong like a rag doll, and I don't know if he wants that again.
Well, he might have something to say about that, maybe.
Or Rodney, because he don't like to talk apparently. So if Rush wants to speak up and say something, he can speak for him and make whatever happen. Because I don't care who's in the ring, how much they weigh, what size they are, they're getting ragdolled and they're getting yeeted.
Well, you heard that here first. But again, I don't think Rodney or Congo will like your comments. But who knows? They might be supporting you on the sidelines maybe. But we'll have to see what happens this Thursday. Of course, Congo Kong is fighting, and I know there's a tournament going on in next year for this champion, this world champion. Are you looking forward to see who comes out the victorious? Have you got any favourites who may win it, or?
Yeah, it's interesting. Satu Jin, he's an original, so of course, even though he's an asshole to me and had a thorn in my side, I'm looking forward to see what he can do as a standout singles wrestler. Congo Kong's in it. Jason Kincaid, Aaron Williams, Chance Prophet, Zodiac. Hadn't seen Chance in a long time. And a lot of these interesting matchups. Like to see who all is going to do it, especially Congo Kong and Schlack. I've never seen Kong wrestle somebody like Schlack in my life, so I'd like to see if he can survive that kind of environment, or see how Schlack will go up against somebody that's as big like Congo Kong can do the things he do. Because Kong can, he's like reminiscent of like Vader or Bam Bam. He's big, but he's also has a lot of agility to him. You don't see that very often.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Indeed.
There are a lot of very good clashes there. Jason Kincaid and Aaron Williams will be a technical clinic. I can already tell you that. Both of them at the top of their game. Zodiac and Chant both like to play the mind game. So there's a lot of dream encounters there in the tournament first starting off. And I have no idea who Satu's facing. I think he's against a mystery opponent. But regardless, still, I like to be interesting to see if he can step up the plate and keep on his trend doing what he's been doing.
Yeah, and I guess as well, of course, Congo Kong is already a champion of a different belt. So that might even go in his favour. Like, he's only got one belt under his ring already. He can go all the way through this tournament and beat everybody because he's already a champion in his book.
He very well could. Plus, he has the statement behind him with Alex Cross and James Kedrick and Rodney Rush, of course. So it always helps to have some groups with you, see somebody cheering you on. So 100%.
And of course, he's had a lot of ups and downs as Congo Kong over the past year. Facing off against Andy Mack, the former champion, and then having some run-ins with a referee as well, and Rodney Rush running around the building like he owns the place. I'm surprised you've not caught on to this kind of thing and done it for your own benefit to maybe get into the same pitches as Congo Kong or the others in that tournament.
I never wanted to play politics. Never had been a political guy. I'll leave that to people like Rodney Rush and them. I'll let what I do in there speak for me.
Fair enough. Can't argue from that. Any advice for anybody who may be thinking of following in your footsteps to become a pro wrestler, or maybe even become a bodybuilder or a promoter?
As far as weightlifting goes, start young if you can, eat right, drink a lot of water, and get your proteins in, and lift heavy, and keep personal records. Keep track of everything you do. I don't care if it's running, I don't care if it's jumping, stretching, lifting weights, times. Keep records of everything you do, and then every week try to break those records. Even if you can't break your max, you may be able to break a 10 rep max or a half a mile record instead of a mile record. You can always keep records of something you do, and as long as you're pushing yourself, you have something to sustain for and beat the following week, and that's how you improve every week, is be able to break and go after something, have goals. As far as promoting wise, if somebody's wanting to be a promoter, make sure you put talent first. Make sure you always make sure people are taken care of before you just go out and book shows or do anything. And buildings and money, getting all that stuff taken care of first, and then looking at your product from the outside and seeing if this is actually a product people can enjoy. And then if you can do all those steps, then you can move forward and get into such. Don't ever try to lowball people. Make things respectful as far as foremost things to do that. And with being a wrestler, find you a reputable school. It's just like going to any college. If you want to go to like Harvard or Princeton or something, the more of a better suitable name you have behind you, the more of a name people will follow you with whenever you're trained in. It don't matter if you're the best wrestler in the world. You can be one of the best wrestlers in the world and trained at the best in the world. But if you're at a school that's no one knows about, or it just sounds like it sucks, that's already going to take you down a few notches. You're going to have an uphill battle to climb right there in doing so. So if you have a reputable school or something to do that, more power to you. But besides that, just listen, keep your mouth shut, take notes, keep track of all your matches, and develop a personality, online following, and character, and get something going for yourself. As well as number one, we talked about earlier, stay in the gym, keep yourself fit.
Yeah, no, absolutely good advice. I like that advice from Shane Mercer here this evening or this afternoon, depending where you're watching us from.
What's how the world run?
Yeah, exactly. But I remember seeing a post from you a while ago. I think it was a GoFundMe page. I think it was a GoFundMe page of you trying to set up your own school yourself, and I haven't seen any of these posts for a while. So I'm wondering what's going on with that. Is that still a thing, or have you gave up on that, or what?
No, I haven't gave up on it. It's just I don't like pandering,
No,
asking for people for stuff.
Yeah,
I hate it.
no, I agree with that.
But having to GoFundMe, we're trying to have a school set up. It's going to be like $20,000 to get it for a building, ring, and everything.
Wow.
And it's a lot of money. So trying to get a lot of money come up is going to take a long time to get that stuff ready together because everybody's got their own bills, lives, wrestling, traveling, family, everything in the world. And that's kind of like at the end of the list because you can't put that first until you get those other things taken care of. So it's just a long endeavor that want to get done because definitely want to get a school on a private property. So you ain't got to pay some outlandish rental cost every month and just waste the money. And then get proper training here around where I live at. So people that have a dream and inspire, because like I said, I've had so many people like Aiden Blackheart, Satu, Alex Zane come through. We can have all these top names come out of this small little town. Who knows what else is hiding around here? They just don't have a will or a way or don't know nothing about it. A lot of people's trouble with the talent they have and getting in wrestling is just not knowing what to do to begin with or just feeling lost and not being able to be guided enough. And if I can help a little bit in that way, get people guided to whereas I could have been better when I was younger, I'll do that and get them set on the right path to others and get better promotions and train properly as well for the guys that's already out there that just need to get the reps in.
Yeah, no, totally agree. I just wondered because I've seen posts and then all of a sudden I've not seen any posts for a while or anybody sharing it, so I just thought maybe you reached your target. Maybe that's what I thought. Maybe, but there you go. So now we know the true answer. And if people want to contribute, where can they find the GoFundMe page or stuff? Or
well, if you just look up XCF Wrestling on GoFundMe, you can find that. Well, I'm sure you can find it on any of our guys' Facebook pages, or just reach out and message them individually, and I'm sure they can send you the link for it if you ever want to help out with something like that, get the school going. We're still a long ways behind it, so it's going to be a long journey on getting that happening. I think we have like maybe $1,000 total going into the 20, but it's just going to sit there until we get our money going and get stuff going like that, because that's still the plan. It's a long-term plan, but that's still the plan.
Well, now it's 19,000 then. I mean, £19,000, $9,000, let's say, before you can open that up. But would you also run events from their venue as well, or because it'd be a private venue, which means you could?
I wouldn't do huge events, obviously, because I couldn't do that in just a garage type setting. I mean. But it would be a good school-based thing to have some Ignite shows from. I would put some of the newer talent in there. I would still bring in bigger talent just to work with some of the other talent every now and then. Maybe have some showcase matches with stuff like that. But it would be more of a training facility to get things going, people to do promos, develop characters, get their in-ring skill down, and just be more comfortable with everything to begin with. But there would be some Ignite shows and student showcases to see who is ready to graduate, level up, things of that nature.
I like that. Good answers. I like it. Is there anything else which you would like to mention here on the show?
If you're watching this show, you might have heard of me, or you might have just been following his interviews and seen that. You can check me out on all my social medias. I got pretty much every one of them. So you can look up The Iron Demon on X/Twitter. You can look me up on Instagram, Shane Mercer. You can look me up on Facebook, Shane Mercer. My YouTube channel, XCF Diablo. Or just search Shane Mercer, and I'm sure you'll find my stuff on there. You look up the XCF Wrestling pages, the XCF Wrestling on YouTube, or you can find XCF Ignite on there. We've got two different channels. And then you can look up the Twitter pages for them on Instagram too, XCF Wrestling on all the stuff, and I'm sure you'll find us.
Yeah, speaking about the YouTube, why do you have two different YouTube channels for XCF, by the way?
One's for the Ignite channel, for the Ignite shows.
Right. Just not merge them together. Put them on, put them on one platform. Make it easier for you. But I can understand that. You could just tie that.
Well, the Ignite is more student greener talent showcased.
Right.
So we'll have most newer talent on Ignites, giving them a chance to get reps and stuff. Not saying you won't see veterans on there.
No, yeah.
You'll see them occasionally on there wrestling with others and stuff, but it's more of a student and more newer talent showcase to get the reps.
Right.
That's why.
Got you. Understandable. Thank you for that knowledge, and thank you for your expertise and time. Do stay on the line. I hope that we can get you back on the show again soon via Skype. I think we'll use this more often. For many of you on the show, I think.
Yeah, Skype seemed to work today pretty good compared to Zoom. Still don't know what the issue was, but here we are.
Me either. And when you said all your social medias, they were on the screen, apart from Fred's. Of course, you can find Shane on Fred's as well. But it's been a pleasure having you on my little small show out here in good old Manchester, UK. And, we can't wait to see you bossing it in XCF and on GCW and wherever else you may be heading in freelance wrestling as well. And we look forward to seeing you right here in the UK, and I hope that you get to come to Manchester, UK to check out the best city in the world, and as well to check out the best food we have as well, or even the best beer.
It's always one of the things I love to do when I go to a new country or somewhere new. I got to try out the grub, see what's good there.
Yeah. Well, we can say it won't be as big as your Parsons in America, though. Unfortunately, we're not as we don't do as big as you guys do.
Oh, that's fine. I'll just get 2 orders of it, then that's fine.
Fair enough. And if you enjoyed this episode of my show, then make sure to like it on YouTube, share it around, tell them about Shane Mercer, tell them about XCF, tell them about how they are the hottest promotion in Indiana today. And as well, check them out and leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about your interview with Shane. Sorry about the background colours. I'm fixing that for next time. If you're new around here, subscribe. Takes 10 seconds or less. We've got over 216 subscribers, a lot less than what Shane Mercer has on all of his social medias. He's a big timer compared to me, like a small fish here in good old England. And don't forget, tomorrow we got another great guest on. I don't know if you enjoy jazz music, Shane, but we've got a great legend in jazz music coming on my show, and that will be announced in an hour or so from now. It's going to be a fantastic show. Do not miss it. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m. UK time, 2 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m., 11 a.m. on the West Coast. I'm thinking of it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon right now. But until then, enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.